Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin. There is a quiet, hidden rhythm that we often forget exists, an unspoken beat that moves through everything. It lingers in the spaces between our breaths, in the soft hum of the world spinning around us. Time, like a river that never ceases, flows unnoticed. We mark its passing with clocks and calendars, yet its true nature is far more mysterious. Imagine time as a whisper, as though it speaks in a language we've never fully understood. This whisper is not loud, it does not demand attention. Instead, it lingers soft as the breeze, pulling us gently forward, one moment at a time. Now, imagine a quiet morning. The sun rises slowly over the horizon, casting long shadows that stretch like sleepy fingers across the earth. The world seems to pause, if only for an instant, caught in the embrace of dawn. That instant, no matter how brief, is part of the vast unfolding of time. It is a heartbeat, a pulse within the endless expanse. In this moment, the seconds slip away like grains of sand through your fingers, falling into the past before you even realize they are gone. Yet the sound of those seconds remains, like the soft echo of a bell ringing in the distance. We tend to measure time by events, the turning of the seasons, the rise and fall of the moon. But there is more to time than what we can see. The very atoms in our bodies hum with time's rhythm, vibrating and shifting at a speed we cannot perceive. Each molecule is caught in a dance that has been going on since the beginning of the universe. To understand time is to understand this dance, the way the smallest particles and the grandest galaxies are all part of an intricate choreography that weaves through everything. At the heart of this is a question that has troubled philosophers and scientists alike. Is time real, or is it merely a concept? Some believe it is an illusion, a product of our minds struggling to make sense of the universe's vastness. Others see it as a fundamental force, a river that carries everything along with it, whether we are aware of it or not. In either case, time cannot be touched, nor held. It is not something we can grasp, but something we feel, something we experience. Perhaps time is like a dream flowing effortlessly from one moment to the next. Yet within this dream, there is a subtle awareness, a sense that everything is connected. The past, present, and future are threads that weave in and out of each other, sometimes tangling, sometimes pulling apart. And through it all, there is the quiet hum of time's passing, the gentle reminder that we are all part of something larger, something that stretches beyond the boundaries of our understanding. So as you sit in the stillness of the present moment, take a deep breath and listen closely. Hear the pulse of time, feel the echo of the moments that have come before and those yet to come. Each second is a note in a song that has been playing since the beginning of everything, and it will continue long after we are gone. As the day unfolds, time continues its quiet dance. The morning fades slowly into afternoon, and the sun's warmth shifts across the land. You can almost feel time stretching, like a soft fabric pulled taut under the sky. It is both endless and fleeting, moving slowly in the moments of stillness, but racing when we least expect it. The world, too, is caught in this paradox. The trees sway in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. Beneath the surface of the oceans, creatures live and die according to the eternal rhythm of time, unaware of the passing hours above. Time, like the air itself, surrounds everything, touching the lives of creatures big and small. Time exists in layers. Each day is but a layer, thin and translucent, over the deeper layers of months and years. Yet even though the days pass one after another, they are never the same. Each one carries with it a subtle difference, a new experience, a change in the way we see the world. And in this way, time becomes a mirror. It reflects who we are and what we have become, but it also gently reminds us of what we once were. With each passing moment, we are transformed. A tiny shift in the way the light falls, a faint change in the sound of the wind, and we realize that the world around us is never quite the same. Time, in its silent way, paints the world anew with every tick of the clock. There is an old saying, the more you try to catch time, the more it slips through your fingers. It speaks to a truth we all know but rarely acknowledge. Time cannot be held, no matter how tightly we try to grasp it. The faster we chase it, the further it seems to run. And yet time is not an enemy. It is a companion, patiently following us through every stage of our lives. It does not hurry, does not slow. It simply exists, like the air we breathe, steady and constant. It carries us from one place to another, sometimes without us even noticing, other times with a gentle nudge, reminding us to be present. In nature, time is woven into every leaf, every petal, every raindrop. When a flower blooms, it is a moment in time, a fleeting moment that will never return. The petals open slowly, as though they are savoring the passage of time. They stretch toward the sun, basking in its light, but soon they will fall, carried away by the wind. In that moment, though, they are perfect. They remind us that time is not only about change, but also about the beauty that can be found in the passing. The bloom is beautiful because it will not last forever. The fleeting nature of its life makes it precious, a reminder to cherish every moment, for it too shall pass. We see this truth reflected in the cycles of nature. The changing of the seasons is one of the most obvious reminders of time's presence. Spring gives way to summer, and summer to autumn, and autumn to winter. The seasons roll on, unaffected by the concerns of the creatures living beneath the sky. And yet each season brings its own unique story. Spring sings of new beginnings, while autumn speaks of endings. Winter whispers of quiet reflection, and summer promises warmth and energy. Time, like the seasons, carries us through different phases of life. At times we find ourselves in the bloom of spring, full of possibilities and newness. At other times we are in the stillness of winter, reflecting on what has come before and what is yet to come. Perhaps time is like the cycles of nature, always moving in a rhythm we cannot see, but can feel in the deepest parts of our being. It is in the way the leaves turn golden in the fall, and how the snow falls softly on the ground in winter. It is in the way our own hearts beat, ever steady, ever present, marking the seconds of our lives. We may not always notice it, but time is there, like the steady hum of the earth beneath our feet. It is as much a part of us as the air we breathe, the thoughts we think and the dreams we hold. And yet there are moments when time seems to stand still, when everything around us fades into the background and we are fully present. These are the moments when we are most aware of the flow of time, and yet it seems to slip away quietly, as though we've become part of it. It is in the quiet pause of a sunset, the stillness of a quiet night, the peaceful embrace of sleep. In these moments, time feels almost as though it has disappeared, leaving only the present. It is as if we have touched eternity, if only for a brief moment. As the evening falls, the sky deepens into a soft, velvety blue, and the stars begin to emerge, their light a delicate reminder of time's vast expanse. The stars, ancient and distant, have been shining for eons, their light travelling across the universe, only now reaching our eyes. In their silent glow, we see not only the history of the cosmos, but also a reflection of our own lives. Each star is a moment frozen in time, a story of a distant past. Yet they seem to blink quietly in the present. Time, in its mysterious way, links us to the stars, linking us to the infinite. And as we gaze up at the night sky, we are reminded that even though time is always slipping away, we are part of something that is eternal. In this moment, the past and the future seem to blur, and we realize that perhaps time is not linear at all. Maybe it is more like a circle, endlessly looping through the universe, pulling us along in its gentle current. Our lives are brief flickers in the grand scheme of time, but they are part of the same pattern, part of the same rhythm. The moments we experience, though fleeting, are precious. Each one, though imperceptible, is a note in the symphony of the universe, creating harmony with every other note. Time, like music, flows without pause, and each fleeting second adds to the beauty of the song. As night settles deeper, we find ourselves at peace with the passage of time. Perhaps we realize that time does not need to be chased or understood in its entirety. It is enough simply to live in it, to let it move through us like the quiet breeze that stirs the leaves of a tree. Time does not ask for our permission, nor does it seek our understanding. It moves with or without us, its rhythm unaffected by the moments we try to hold. And yet, by surrendering to time's flow, we find peace. In the stillness of the night, we let go of our worries about what is past and what is yet to come. We simply are, here in this moment, connected to the past, the present, and the future. The quiet hum of time surrounds us once more. It is in the ticking of the clock, the sound of the wind, the beating of our hearts. It is the sound of the world turning, of the universe expanding. And in this gentle hum, there is a comfort, a knowing that everything is as it should be. Time will continue as it always has, and we will continue with it. Our moments may be small, but they are part of a grand, infinite story, a story that stretches beyond our understanding. Each moment, no matter how brief, is precious. It is a gift, a fleeting second in the endless dance of time. As the night deepens, the world around us grows quiet. We are left with the stillness, the echo of time's passing. The stars above are like soft whispers from the past, telling us stories of things we will never fully understand, but in their light we find peace. We realize that time, though it moves relentlessly forward, carries with it the beauty of every moment, the quiet wisdom of every passing second. And as we close our eyes, letting sleep take us gently into the night, we carry with us the knowledge that time is both fleeting and eternal, and that in every breath, in every heartbeat, we are part of its infinite flow. In the quiet of the night, when everything seems still, there exists a moment between the tick and the tock of the clock, a pause so small it often goes unnoticed. But it is there, like a hidden breath of the universe, suspended in time. It is the silence that exists between the moments we know, the space where time breathes gently before the next second arrives. This silence is not empty. In it, there is a kind of fullness, a quiet hum that pulses just beneath the surface, reminding us that even in stillness, time is moving. And as we listen closely, we begin to realize that these fleeting pauses are not mere gaps between events, but something more. They are like tiny echoes of the eternal rhythm that beats in the heart of the universe, a heartbeat that exists beyond our understanding of time. Each tick of the clock is a moment of transition, a passage from one instant to the next. But between each tick, there is a space. This space is often overlooked, as we rush from one task to the next, too busy to pause and listen. But in that space, time feels different. It is not the hurried rush of the world around us, but a soft, unhurried flow that exists in the quietest parts of our lives. It is the feeling of standing still while the world moves around us, of being suspended in the calm before the storm. In these quiet pauses, we are reminded that time is not something we can control. It moves at its own pace, slipping through our fingers like water, always present, always gentle, always there. If we were to sit in silence, truly present in the moment, we might begin to hear the rhythm of time itself, the soft, steady pulse of existence. It is there, in the quiet moments when we are still, when the distractions of the world fade away and all that remains is the feeling of being alive. Time does not need to announce itself. It does not need our attention. It moves with a quiet grace, unaffected by our desires or our hurry. And in those moments when we are still, we become more attuned to its presence. We begin to hear the subtle shifts, the tiny whispers of the world around us, the leaves rustling in the trees, the distant hum of a faraway train, the soft murmur of the wind. These are all part of the silent passage of time, a reminder that the universe moves not in loud declarations, but in quiet, unspoken ways. It is easy to think of time as a ticking clock, a series of moments that pass in rapid succession. But the silence between those ticks holds a different kind of wisdom. It is a reminder that not all moments are loud, that not all moments demand our attention. Some moments are soft, gentle, and fleeting. They exist in the spaces between, in the places we often overlook. Yet these are the moments that hold the most meaning. It is in the pause between words, the stillness before an answer, that we often find clarity. And it is in the silence between the tick and the tock that we are reminded of the beauty of simply being. Time moves in ways we cannot always see or hear, but we can feel it if we only stop long enough to listen. The world continues on as it always does, but in the silence there is a moment of peace. The ticking clock, ever present, reminds us that time is always moving forward, always pulling us with it. But the space between those ticks is a quiet sanctuary. In that brief pause we can breathe, we can reflect, we can simply be. Time is not something we can control or contain, but in these quiet moments we can choose to exist within it, to let it carry us gently forward without resistance. It is in the stillness that we find freedom, the freedom to be present, to experience each passing second not as a rush, but as a soft unfolding of existence. In these quiet pauses, we begin to understand that the silence between the ticks is not an absence, but a presence. It is in this space that time becomes a living, breathing entity, something more than just a measurement of seconds. It is as though the pause itself is the pulse of life, a gentle reminder that we exist not only in the moments of action, but also in the stillness that surrounds them. We often rush through life, chasing the ticking of the clock, thinking that we must always be moving, always be achieving, always be doing. Yet, in the silent spaces between the ticks, we find that there is just as much meaning in being still as there is in moving forward. The world, too, seems to breathe in these pauses. When we stop to listen, we can hear it. The rustling of the trees, the soft hum of distant voices, the quiet movements of creatures going about their lives. All of this happens in the space between moments, in the silent gaps that make up the rhythm of existence. Time, it seems, is not just about the passing of seconds, but about the quiet spaces that fill those seconds. It is in the spaces that we find the depth of life. The way a smile lingers just a moment too long, the brief silence before a thunderstorm, the pause before a new idea begins to form. These are the moments that hold the essence of time's true nature, fluid, ever-changing, and yet somehow eternal. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in a meadow surrounded by the quiet whispers of the wind and the distant call of birds. Time in this moment seems to slow down. There is no rush, no need to hurry. The leaves gently sway in the breeze, and for a moment it feels as though the world itself is taking a breath. In this pause, there is no clock ticking away the seconds, no countdown to the next event. There is only the soft rhythm of life unfolding, moment by moment, without the need for urgency. And as you stand there listening to the silence, you begin to feel a connection to everything around you. The grass beneath your feet, the air that surrounds you, the sky above, all of it is part of the same rhythm, the same flow of time that carries you forward, gently and without resistance. The beauty of time lies not only in the moments we remember, but also in those we forget, the moments that slip away unnoticed, like the space between a heartbeat. These moments are not wasted, they are not lost, they are simply part of the ongoing dance of life. Like the quiet moments before the dawn breaks, they hold within them a sense of possibility. The dawn, though, is just one moment in the long passage of time. It is the quiet moments before the dawn that often carry the most weight, the stillness before the light. Time does not need to be filled with noise or activity to be meaningful. It is enough simply to exist, to feel the silence, to be present in the quiet gaps that fill our days. And yet, we often fear the silence. We fear the stillness, because in it, we are left with only ourselves. But if we allow ourselves to rest in these spaces, we begin to realize that they are not empty. They are filled with the very essence of life, the very breath of the universe. It is in the silence between the ticks that we find our true connection to the world around us. In this stillness, we find the peace we have been searching for. It is not in the ticking of the clock that we find meaning, but in the quiet spaces that surround it. For it is in these moments that we are able to hear the deeper song of time, the melody that moves through everything, from the smallest grain of sand to the furthest star. The silence between the ticks is a reminder that time is not something to be conquered or controlled. It is something to be felt, to be experienced, to be lived. It flows gently like a river that winds through the landscape, carving its path through the earth, shaping the world around it. We are part of that flow, part of the quiet movement that carries us from one moment to the next. And in the spaces between those moments, we find the beauty of life, not in what we have done, but in what we are doing right now, in the stillness. We are reminded that time does not need to be measured or marked. It simply is, and in its quiet, we find the truth of our existence. As the day slowly turns to night, the ticking of the clock becomes softer, almost distant. The world outside seems to slow, as though the silence between the ticks has expanded, stretching over everything. In the quiet, there is a sense of peace, a soft reminder that time does not always need to be filled with noise. It is enough to simply be present, to breathe in the stillness, to allow time to flow through us like a quiet stream. The moments we often overlook, the spaces between words, the pauses between breaths, are the ones that hold the most meaning. They are the moments that remind us of the delicate beauty of existence, of how fleeting yet precious each second truly is. Time moves on, as it always does, but in the silence we find something profound. We discover that we do not need to chase every moment, for the moments that truly matter are the ones that come to us when we are not looking. Like the soft glow of twilight, they appear without warning, inviting us to pause, to listen, to simply be. These are the moments that shape our lives, the quiet moments that speak volumes even though they are not filled with sound. Time is not just measured in what we do, but in the spaces between what we do. It is in these pauses that we find the stillness of the universe, a stillness that echoes through everything, connecting us to the stars, to the earth, to each other. Imagine standing by the shore, the ocean stretching out before you. The waves come and go, each one rolling gently to the sand and then retreating back into the sea. But in between each wave, there is a pause, a brief moment when the ocean is still. It is in these moments of stillness that we find the deepest sense of connection. The waves do not rush. They take their time, following the rhythm of the moon, of the tides, of the unseen forces that guide them. And so too does time. It moves with a rhythm that is not always loud or obvious, but always present. The pauses between the waves, between the ticks of the clock, are where we find our place in the universe. It is in the silence that we are able to hear the soft pulse of life, reminding us that we are part of something much greater than ourselves. In these quiet moments, we can reflect on the nature of time itself. Time is not just a measurement of the past or future, but a thread that connects everything. It is the constant hum of the universe, the ever-present rhythm that moves through all things. Time does not belong to us. It belongs to the universe, to the stars, to the earth beneath our feet. And yet we are part of it. We are caught in its dance, moving through life, sometimes aware of it, sometimes not. But even in our unawareness, time continues its flow, its gentle, unhurried passage. The ticks of the clock mark its progress, but the silence between those ticks is where we find its true essence. Perhaps, in the end, time is not something to be feared or conquered, but something to be experienced. It is a gift, a fleeting moment in the vastness of the cosmos. Each tick, each pause, each second is a note in the symphony of the universe, a symphony that plays quietly, unassuming and yet profoundly beautiful. We do not need to rush to hear it. We do not need to fill it with noise or activity. We simply need to listen, to feel the silence between the ticks, and to know that in those moments we are alive, we are connected, and we are part of something greater. As the night deepens, the silence becomes more profound. The ticking of the clock fades into the background, and all that remains is the quiet hum of time's passage. In this stillness, we are reminded of the beauty of simply being. Time is not something that demands our attention or our understanding. It is something that flows through us, a river of moments that carries us gently forward. And in the silence between the ticks, we find peace. We find a deep, unspoken connection to everything around us, the stars, the earth, the vast infinite universe. And as we close our eyes, drifting off into sleep, we are at peace with the passage of time, knowing that it is both fleeting and eternal, both a whisper and a song. Above us, the stars flicker and dance, their light woven through the fabric of the night sky like a song of the universe. Each one pulses with the rhythm that stretches across time, a melody composed not of sound, but of light, silent, constant, and eternal. The rhythm of the stars is not something we hear, but something we feel. It is a pulse that vibrates through the very air we breathe, touching everything in its path. Time in its deepest essence is measured by the stars. Their movement across the heavens is the clock of the universe, a celestial dance that has been ongoing for billions of years. Imagine the vastness of the sky stretching endlessly above you. The stars, though distant and ancient, are not still. They move in slow, graceful arcs, their paths determined by the unseen forces of gravity and light. The universe in all its expanse is a symphony, and the stars are its instruments, playing a song that is older than time itself. Each star's journey is a note in the melody, a part of the cosmic rhythm that defines the passage of time. Their light reaches us, not as a single instant, but as a story told over eons, stories of birth, life, and eventual death, written in the stars long before humanity ever walked the earth. We can look up and see the stars, but we can never truly touch them. They remain far beyond our reach, distant and untouchable, and yet, in some ways, we are connected to them. We too are made of the same elements that form the stars: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon. The very atoms in our bodies were once part of those distant suns, scattered across the cosmos in the wake of supernovae, before coalescing into the world we know today. When we look up at the night sky, we are not only seeing light that has travelled millions of years to reach us, we are seeing the very building blocks of life. The rhythm of the stars is the rhythm of all things, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, woven together in a silent harmony that transcends time. It is easy to think of the stars as distant and separate from our own lives, but they are not. They are intimately tied to the fabric of time itself. When a star is born, it begins a journey that will span millions, sometimes billions of years. For most of that time, the star will burn brightly, its energy shaping the very elements that form the planets, the air, and the water. And yet, like all things in the universe, the star's journey will one day come to an end. Some stars die in a blaze of glory, exploding in supernovae that send their elements scattering through space. Others quietly fade, their light diminishing until they are no more than faint remnants of their former selves. But even in death, the stars continue to shape the universe, their remnants giving birth to new stars, new worlds, new possibilities. In this endless cycle, there is a rhythm. It is a rhythm that repeats itself over and over across the vast stretches of time. The stars are born, live and die in a slow, unhurried dance that seems to stretch on forever. And yet, for all their eternity, the stars are constantly in motion. They swirl through the cosmos, pulled by forces we cannot see or fully understand. Some are part of vast galaxies, their light lost among billions of others, while others stand alone, distant and isolated, casting their light across the heavens. The rhythm of the stars is both constant and ever-changing, a beautiful paradox that reflects the nature of time itself. Time, like the stars, is both steady and fleeting, a never-ending cycle that carries us all forward. As you gaze at the stars, it is easy to become lost in their vastness. Their light is so ancient, their stories so old, that they seem to belong to another time, another age, and yet they are with us every night, silently marking the passage of time. Each moment we spend beneath the stars is a moment shared with the cosmos, a fleeting instant in the grand dance of the universe. Time is not something we experience alone. It is something we share with the stars, with the earth, with the entire universe, and in this shared rhythm we find our place in the vastness of existence. The stars in their eternal dance remind us that we too are part of something larger than ourselves. We are part of the same rhythm that has been playing since the beginning of time, and though our lives are but brief flashes in the grand scheme of the cosmos, we are no less a part of that rhythm. We, like the stars, have our time to shine, our moment to burn brightly before we fade into the darkness. And in that moment, we too contribute to the song of the universe, a song that will continue long after we are gone. In the vast, quiet expanse of space, there is no rush. The stars do not hurry. Their rhythm is one of grace, of patience, and of timelessness. Every movement they make is a reflection of the eternal dance of the universe, a dance that has been unfolding long before our planet was even born. And in this dance there are no missteps. Each star follows its path, its journey, its purpose, as though it has always known where it was meant to go. Perhaps this is what time truly is, an unfolding, a gentle rhythm that moves through everything, weaving all things together in a symphony of motion. The stars, with their slow, deliberate movements, offer us a model for how we might live within time, not in haste, but in harmony with its flow. As we watch the stars from our small corner of the universe, we are reminded of the incredible forces that shape their existence. Some stars live out their lives in peaceful solitude, their light shining brightly for millions of years. Others are born in the fiery wombs of nebulae, formed by the collapse of gas and dust, their light igniting in a burst of energy that lights up the cosmos. These stars live fast, burning bright, their lives measured not in billions of years, but in just a few million. The energy they expel shapes everything in their path, scattering elements that will one day form new stars, planets, and even life itself. In this way, time is both a creator and a destroyer. The stars live their lives in the blink of an eye, but in their brief flicker, they shape the universe, leaving a legacy that will last far beyond their final breath. And yet, even as the stars burn bright, they are moving through time at a pace we can scarcely comprehend. Their movements across the sky are not random. They follow patterns, loops, and orbits dictated by the invisible hand of gravity. Stars are born in clusters, travel together for a while, and then slowly drift apart. Some stars end their journey in violent explosions, scattering their remnants like stardust, creating new stars and galaxies in the process. Others simply fade into the darkness, their light growing faint and dim until they are no more. The universe itself is a canvas, and the stars are the brush strokes, creating a masterpiece that stretches across the cosmos, both beautiful and fleeting. The rhythm of the stars teaches us something about time itself. We live our lives in the constant push and pull of moments, the pressure to move forward, to do more, to be more. But the stars show us that not all time is about motion, not all time is about action. There is time for stillness, for quiet growth, for becoming. Just as the stars spend millions of years in the quiet process of transformation, we too undergo subtle shifts, changes, and growths that may not be immediately visible but are just as profound. Our own journey, though brief in comparison, follows a rhythm that is no less beautiful. Like the stars, we are shaped by forces both visible and invisible, moving through time in ways we cannot always understand, but always guided by an unseen hand. The stars remind us that time is not just a measure of progress, it is also a measure of presence. A star that burns brightly for a few million years has lived a full life. It does not need to burn for billions of years to be significant. Each moment of its existence is important, as it contributes to the fabric of the universe. And so it is with us. We may not have billions of years, but we have the moments that make up our lives. These moments, though fleeting, are precious. They shape who we are and who we become. Just as the stars leave behind their light long after they have burned out, so too do we leave behind traces of ourselves in the people we touch, the work we do, and the world we leave behind. There is a beauty in knowing that we, like the stars, are part of something greater. Time, in its infinite expanse, connects us to everything. The same elements that form the stars also form us, linking us to the cosmos in a way that is both humbling and awe-inspiring. When we look up at the night sky, we are looking into the past, into the light that has travelled millions of years to reach us. And in that light, we are reminded of the delicate balance of time. The stars, though far away, are with us every night, their rhythm marking the passage of time and reminding us that we too are part of this great endless dance. As we stand beneath the stars, we can feel their rhythm inside of us. Their light, though distant, connects us to something beyond ourselves, to a rhythm that is much larger than our own lives. It is a rhythm that moves through the entire universe, from the smallest grain of sand to the farthest galaxy. We are all part of it, connected by the same forces, the same dance. Time, like the stars, is both fleeting and eternal. It moves through us, shaping us, and yet it carries us forward, one moment at a time, until we too fade into the night, leaving behind our own traces of light in the great cosmic story. As the stars continue their eternal dance, we are reminded of the quiet, unstoppable rhythm that threads through the universe, a rhythm that carries us through the passage of time. It is easy to feel small when gazing at the vastness of the night sky, yet, in that very moment, we are deeply connected to the stars, for we are made of the same cosmic dust. Our lives, brief as they may seem, compared to the eons of the stars, are no less significant in the grand melody of the cosmos. Like the stars, we shine brightly for a time, casting our light into the world before fading, but leaving behind traces of our existence in the hearts of those we touch. This rhythm of existence, so ancient and profound, reminds us that our lives are but brief echoes in the eternal song, yet they are an essential part of it. The stars offer us more than just a view of the universe. They offer us a mirror to our own lives. Just as the stars go through cycles, birth, life, and death, so too do we. We come into being in the quiet moments of our lives, growing and expanding, finding our light, and eventually, we fade into the shadows. But even in fading, there is beauty. For in the star's death, there is the birth of new worlds, new stars, new beginnings. The stars remind us that endings are not final, they are merely transitions, moments in a larger cycle that continues, always evolving. In their light, we see that every moment of our lives, no matter how fleeting, is part of something greater, part of a rhythm that flows through all things. The death of a star is not an end, but a transformation. It is a turning point in the cosmic dance, a moment when the energy of a dying star is released into the universe, giving birth to new elements, new stars, and eventually new life. In this way, the rhythm of the stars is a reminder that everything in the universe is interconnected. The star's death is not separate from their life. It is an essential part of their existence, just as our own endings are essential parts of our stories. We may never fully understand the vastness of time and space, but we can understand that our lives, though brief, are woven into the fabric of the universe. We are part of the rhythm, as much as the stars are, and in that, there is a quiet peace. And when we stand beneath the stars, we are reminded that time itself is not linear. The light we see tonight was born millions of years ago, yet it reaches us in the present. In that moment, time bends and stretches, and we realize that the past, present, and future are all connected in a way we can't fully comprehend. The rhythm of the stars shows us that time is not something we move through, but something we move with. It is not something that is outside of us, but something that is inside of us, moving through our bodies and our minds, carrying us forward even when we cannot see the way. The stars remind us that time is not a straight path, but a loop, a cycle that circles back upon itself, weaving together all moments into one vast, eternal now. The gentle glow of the stars brings with it a sense of calm, a quiet comfort. We may never know the full extent of their rhythm, their movements, their purpose, but in the stillness of the night, we can rest in the knowledge that we too are part of that rhythm. Just as the stars burn brightly and then fade into the vastness, we too have our moments to shine, to leave our mark on the world. And when our time comes to fade, we will not be forgotten. Like the stars, our light will live on in the memories of those we touch, in the world we leave behind. The rhythm of the stars is not just a reminder of time's passing, but a reminder that we are never truly alone. We are part of something much larger, a cosmic dance that stretches across the universe, uniting us with everything that has ever been and everything that ever will be. So as you stand beneath the night sky, listen to the rhythm of the stars, feel their gentle pulse, their quiet song, and know that you too are part of this endless dance. Each breath you take, each thought you have is a part of the grand symphony that has been unfolding since the beginning of time. You are not just a witness to the stars' light, but a participant in their rhythm, a note in the cosmic song. And as you look up, you realize that, like the stars, your light is part of something eternal, something beautiful, something far beyond the limits of time. A tree stands quietly in the forest, its branches reaching upward toward the sky. If you look closely, you can almost feel it growing, stretching toward the light, rooted deeply in the earth below. Time moves slowly for the tree, marked not by the ticking of a clock, but by the passing of seasons, the slow change of the world around it. Each leaf that unfurls, each branch that extends, is a testament to time's passage, though it is not always visible to the eye. The tree in its stillness is a quiet observer of time, a patient witness to the unfolding of the seasons, and yet, within its bark, within its roots, and within its leaves, time is working its quiet magic, shaping the tree from the inside out. When you touch the trunk of the tree, you can feel the years it has endured. The bark, rough and weathered, holds the stories of seasons past, storms weathered, winters endured, and summers filled with sunlight. Time is embedded in every ring within the tree, each one a record of a year gone by. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the tree's breath, its slow and steady rhythm pulsing in tune with the world around it. Time moves differently for the tree. It does not rush, does not fear the passing of moments. It simply grows, reaching for the light and drinking in the rain, embracing every drop of time as it comes. Its life is a series of quiet moments, each one blending seamlessly into the next. Consider the way a tree grows. It begins as a tiny seed, hidden beneath the soil. The world seems still, yet beneath the surface the roots stretch deeper, seeking nourishment from the earth. Slowly, imperceptibly, the tree begins to push upward, its stem breaking through the soil, reaching toward the sun. In this early stage, time seems almost frozen. The tree's growth is subtle, and yet if you watch closely enough, you can see it. An almost imperceptible rise, a gentle stretching toward the sky. Over time, the tree's roots grow stronger, its branches wider, and its leaves more abundant. And with each passing day, the tree adds another layer to its story. a new chapter in its long life. Time is not measured by minutes or hours for the tree. It is measured by the changes in the air, the warmth of the sun on the bark, the touch of rain on the leaves, the crispness of the wind as the seasons shift. A tree knows time in the language of nature, the rustle of leaves in the autumn breeze, the scent of flowers in the spring, the touch of frost in the winter. The seasons, in their constant rotation, mark the passage of time in ways the tree can understand, even if it cannot name the years that pass. And as the tree grows, it becomes more deeply connected to the rhythms of the earth. Its growth is shaped not just by the soil it stands on, but by the entire ecosystem that surrounds it. The animals, the plants, the insects, all of them contributing to the story of time that the tree lives. A tree's life is not an isolated journey. It is part of the larger, timeless dance of nature. As it grows, it becomes part of the cycle of life and death that defines the natural world. The leaves that fall from the branches return to the earth, where they decompose and provide nutrients for new growth. The tree itself, when it reaches the end of its life, will fall to the ground, its wood broken down by the very creatures it once nourished, returning to the soil to feed new generations of life. Time is a constant flow, a cycle that moves forward even as it circles back on itself. The tree's life, though long, is only one thread in the intricate web of time that surrounds it. In this way, the tree becomes both a participant and a witness to time. It grows, it flourishes, and it fades, all the while witnessing the passage of time in the world around it. Each season, each moment of change is etched into its bark and into the soil beneath it. The tree, though still and patient, is a part of the ever-moving flow of time, a symbol of both permanence and impermanence. It stands as a reminder that time does not rush but moves with the seasons, with the cycles of life and death, with the quiet unfolding of the world. As the tree stands through the seasons, it becomes more than just a living being. It becomes a keeper of time. Each branch, each leaf, tells the story of its years, the struggles it has faced, the changes it has endured, the quiet growth that has shaped it. In the spring, when the new leaves begin to unfurl, there is a sense of hope, a new beginning that marks the passage of another year. The warmth of the sun, the soft whispers of the breeze, and the scent of fresh rain fill the air, and the tree responds. Its leaves stretch toward the light, reaching for every bit of time the season offers. As the days lengthen and the sun rises higher in the sky, the tree absorbs the gift of time, growing taller, stronger, and more vibrant with every passing day. In summer, the tree becomes a symphony of life. Its branches are full, its leaves thick with the energy of the sun. The tree hums with activity, birds nest in its boughs, insects flit between its leaves, and the ground around it is alive with the movement of life. Time in the summer seems to slow. The air is warm, thick with the scent of blossoms and grass, and everything feels as if it is suspended in a golden moment, held by the tree's steady presence. This is the time of fullest growth, when the tree stretches wide and high, its roots deep in the earth and its branches reaching toward the heavens. In this moment, the tree is both grounded and expansive, a bridge between the earth and the sky, a testament to the beauty of time's unfolding. But even in the fullness of summer, the tree knows that time will move forward, as it always does. As the days shorten and the air grows crisp, the tree begins to sense the change, the shift that marks the arrival of autumn. There is a certain stillness in the air, a quiet anticipation that speaks of the passing of time. The leaves, once green and vibrant, begin to turn yellow, orange, and red, as if to mark the passage of another year. The tree knows that it's time to prepare for the quieter days ahead. As the first cold winds blow through the branches, the tree sheds its leaves, letting them fall to the earth below. It releases them, not with regret, but with a quiet acceptance of the natural cycle of life. The leaves return to the soil, where they will decompose and nourish the ground, feeding the tree in the seasons to come. In autumn, time begins to move more slowly, as if the world itself is taking a deep breath before the coming winter. The tree stands bare, its branches reaching toward the sky, but now it is a different kind of beauty, one that is more solemn, more reflective. The leaves have fallen, the warmth of the sun is fading, and the winds are colder. Yet there is a kind of peace in the quiet of autumn, as if the tree is resting, preparing for the stillness of winter. It has lived through another year, and now it enters a time of rest, a time for its roots to gather strength and its branches to find stillness. Time in this moment becomes a quiet companion as the tree holds its place in the world, rooted and steady. As winter settles in, the tree becomes even more still. The cold winds whip through its branches, but it stands firm, its bark thick and protective. The world around it is quiet, as if the earth itself is sleeping, waiting for the warmth of the sun to return. Time in winter feels slower, as though the world is paused, caught in a gentle lull. The tree, though seemingly dormant, is still working. Beneath the frozen ground, its roots are stretching deeper, gathering nutrients, preparing for the spring that will come once again. In the stillness of winter, the tree is quietly alive, storing the energy of the passing year, waiting for the moment when it will bloom again. And even in this silence, time continues its endless march, weaving its way through every season, every cycle, every moment of the tree's life.
Through each season, the tree lives not only through its own experiences, but through the rhythm of time that shapes the world around it. The tree is both a product of time and a creator of it. It holds within its bark the echoes of every season it has endured, every change it has weathered, and every breath of wind that has touched its leaves. And in each new season, it begins again. It is a reminder that time is not just a force that moves us forward, but one that also shapes us, nurtures us, and renews us. The tree, in all its quiet majesty, teaches us that time is both a passage and a gift that allows us to grow, to change, and to become something more than we were before. As winter slowly gives way to spring, a quiet miracle unfolds beneath the earth. The tree, though it appears dormant, is stirring, as if time itself is coaxing it back to life. Beneath the frozen soil, its roots are working in the darkness, stretching ever deeper, quietly drawing in the nutrients needed to nourish the tree's return to the world above. The first rays of sunlight break through the clouds, and the tree begins to feel the warmth. The air begins to hum with the promise of new life, and the tree stirs once more. Time, like a soft breath, fills its branches, and slowly, new buds begin to form. The cycle begins again, as it always does, with the quiet return of spring. The tree's growth, though slow and steady, is a reminder that time does not always move with the speed we desire. There is a rhythm to life, to growth, that unfolds when the time is right. The buds that now appear on the tree's branches are small, almost imperceptible, but they are full of the promise of what is to come. As each leaf unfurls, stretching toward the light, the tree begins to shed its winter stillness. Time has worked its magic once again, and now the tree is reborn, reaching upward with renewed energy. The tree's leaves are not just growing, they are learning to absorb the energy of the sun, to drink in the light that will help it thrive for another year. In this moment, the tree is a testament to the power of time's quiet, persistent force. It has lived through the harsh cold of winter, the barren quiet of autumn, the fullness of summer, and now it is once again alive, its branches filled with new life. The tree knows that time is not just a series of moments. It is a rhythm, a cycle that moves through everything. There is no rush. The tree has no need to hurry. It knows that each season will come in its own time, that each moment will unfold as it is meant to. It lives fully in each season, whether in the stillness of winter or the vibrancy of summer, knowing that all parts of its life are important. In the summer, when the tree is fully in bloom, the air is thick with the warmth of time. The leaves are lush and green, the branches stretch wide, and the tree is alive with energy. This is when the tree is at its fullest, its energy harnessed from the sun, the earth, and the rain. Time moves more quickly in the summer, it seems. There is a sense of urgency, a fleeting feeling that these moments are precious. The tree is a part of the rhythm of the earth, working in harmony with the soil, the sky, and the creatures that live around it. Time, in this season, is a celebration of life, a reminder that every moment is an opportunity to grow, to stretch, and to reach toward the light. But even in the fullness of summer, the tree knows that change is coming. Autumn will soon follow, and with it, a new cycle of transformation. The tree will shed its leaves, letting them fall to the earth to nourish the ground for the next generation. The passing of time, like the changing of the seasons, is a natural process, a process that is both beautiful and inevitable. The tree, with its deep roots and steady presence, knows that time is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced, for in time's passage lies growth, renewal, and the promise of new beginnings. As the days shorten and the coolness of autumn approaches, the tree will once again slow, preparing for the quiet rest of winter. It will stand tall, its branches bare, but its roots strong beneath the surface. It will wait patiently for the return of spring, knowing that time will carry it through another cycle, another season. And when the next spring comes, when the first buds appear once more, the tree will once again reach toward the light, a symbol of the constant rhythm of life and time. Time, in all its beauty and mystery, moves through the tree, through the seasons, through the very fabric of life. It is a force that cannot be hurried or controlled, but must be lived. Just as the tree grows at its own pace, so too must we learn to live with time, to embrace its cycles, to flow with its rhythm rather than against it. The tree teaches us that time is not something to fear or rush through. It is something to experience, to feel, and to grow with. And in the quiet passage of time, we too are transformed, just as the tree is, by the seasons, by the light, by the breath of life. Each day begins with a quiet promise, a soft dance between the light and the shadow. In the early hours of the morning, before the sun has fully risen, the world is bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The shadows linger long, stretching across the land like delicate fingers reaching out, as if trying to hold on to the fading night. But with the first touch of the sun's rays, the shadows begin to retreat, gradually giving way to the light. This gentle dance between light and shadow, which plays out each day, is not only a physical phenomenon but a symbol of the passage of time itself. It is a reminder that day and night are not opposites, but partners in a harmonious rhythm that defines our lives. As the sun rises higher, its light grows stronger, pushing back the shadows. The world becomes clearer, the details sharper, as if the very essence of life is being revealed in the light. Yet, even as the light expands, the shadows are never fully gone. They linger in the corners, in the spaces beneath trees, and in the folds of mountains. The light may shine brightly, but the shadows are always there, a quiet reminder that even in the brightest moments, there is a balance, a contrast, a story being told. The dance of light and shadow is a delicate one, each moving in time with the other, each shaping the world around us in ways we often overlook. In the afternoon, when the sun is at its highest, the shadows grow short and sharp. They are no longer long and stretching, but compact and well-defined, as if the day has reached its peak. The light is now at its fullest, its power strong and unyielding, casting everything into sharp relief. But as the afternoon fades, the shadows begin to lengthen once more, stretching slowly across the ground as the sun dips lower. The light softens, becoming warmer, as the world prepares for the quiet transition of evening. And once again, the shadows return, gently enfolding the world in their embrace. Time, in its gentle movement, is reflected in the dance of light and shadow, both coming together and pulling apart in a rhythmic cycle that never ceases. Even as the day fades into night, the dance continues. The light of the sun gives way to the soft glow of the moon, and the shadows stretch into the depths of the night, growing deeper and more mysterious. The world becomes quiet, the contrast between light and dark more pronounced. But even in the darkest hours, there is still light, the faint glow of stars, the gentle shimmer of distant galaxies. The dance between light and shadow does not end with the setting of the sun. It merely transforms, shifting from the bright light of day to the quiet glow of night. The night, like the shadow, holds secrets, inviting us to rest and reflect in its stillness. This daily dance, the movement between light and shadow, is a constant reminder of the passage of time. It is a dance that is as old as the earth itself, one that has been unfolding for billions of years. Every day the sun rises, bringing light to the world, and every night it sets, leaving behind the darkness. Yet, in that darkness, there is no void. Only the silent presence of the shadow, waiting to be illuminated again. The dance of light and shadow teaches us that time is not just a linear progression, but a series of moments, each one shaped by contrast, by movement, by change. Without light, there could be no shadow. Without shadow, there could be no light. Together they form the rhythm of the universe, a rhythm that moves through the cycles of day and night, birth and death, joy and sorrow. As we go through our days, we often take the presence of light and shadow for granted. We do not always notice how they shape the world, how they influence our mood, our thoughts, our actions. Yet if we stop and look closely, we see how this dance mirrors our own lives. Like the sun and the moon, we too move between moments of light and shadow. There are times when we are filled with clarity and purpose, when the light shines brightly and everything seems clear. But there are also times when we are in the dark, when the path ahead is unclear and the shadows seem to stretch on forever. It is in these moments that we learn the most, for it is in the shadow that we are often forced to pause, to reflect, and to wait for the light to return. The dance of light and shadow is not just a cycle of day and night, it is a reflection of the cycles within ourselves. Each day, we move between moments of brilliance and moments of doubt, moments of certainty and moments of uncertainty. We are both light and shadow, moving through the world, shaping our lives in ways we cannot always see or understand. But just as the world depends on the balance between light and shadow, so too do our lives depend on the balance between our moments of clarity and our moments of reflection. It is this balance that gives depth to our experiences, that shapes our growth, that moves us through time. As the evening settles in, the light begins to soften, casting long shadows that stretch across the earth. The sun, now low in the sky, wraps the world in its golden embrace before sinking beneath the horizon. In these moments, the world seems to pause, caught between the lingering warmth of the day and the cool quiet of the coming night. The dance between light and shadow becomes even more delicate. The last rays of sunlight create a soft glow, painting the sky in hues of pink, purple, and gold, while the shadows lengthen and soften. It is in this twilight hour that we often find ourselves reflecting, caught in the stillness of the world around us. The contrast between light and dark becomes more pronounced, and in this quiet, we realize that both are essential to our experience of time. In the evening light, everything seems to change. The world, once sharp and clear in the bright light of day, now takes on a softer, more ethereal quality. The shadows stretch long and deep, as though they are gathering the secrets of the day. It is during this time that we are reminded that nothing in life is static. Just as the light and the shadow move, so do we. The changes in the sky mirror the changes within ourselves. There are moments when our lives are filled with clarity, with light, and moments when we are caught in the shadows, uncertain and still. But just as the day must give way to the night, so too must we allow ourselves to move between moments of brilliance and moments of quiet reflection. Night falls gently, and with it, the world transforms. The stars begin to appear, each one a distant point of light in the dark expanse of the sky. The shadows, now fully enveloping the earth, seem to take on a life of their own, stretching across the landscape like a blanket of darkness. Yet, within this darkness, there is still light, faint but steady. The moon rises, its pale glow casting a soft light over the world, illuminating the shadows in a way that the sun cannot. This soft light is a different kind of presence, one that speaks of quiet nights, of rest, and of reflection. The dance of light and shadow does not end when the sun sets. It simply shifts, transforming into something more subtle, more introspective. The shadows, now at their deepest, are no longer threatening. Instead, they invite us to pause, to rest, and to allow the quiet darkness to wrap around us. In the stillness of night, we come to understand the importance of shadows. They are not simply the absence of light, but a presence in their own right. They allow us to see the depth of the world around us, to notice the details that might otherwise be overlooked. The shadows draw our attention to the spaces between things, the spaces between stars, between moments, between breaths. Without the shadow, the light would have nowhere to fall. The darkness and the light are inextricably connected, each one giving meaning to the other. Just as the night is necessary to define the day, so too are our moments of uncertainty and doubt necessary to define our moments of clarity. The dance between light and shadow is not a battle, but a partnership, each one playing its part in the rhythm of time. As we move through life, we are constantly shifting between light and shadow. There are times when we feel fully illuminated, when everything is clear and bright and the world seems to make perfect sense. But there are also times when we find ourselves in the shadows, uncertain of what lies ahead, unsure of where to step next. These moments are not to be feared. In the shadow, we have the opportunity to pause and reflect, to gather ourselves before the light returns. The shadows teach us patience, humility, and trust. They remind us that time is not always about moving forward, but about knowing when to rest, when to be still, and when to allow the world to unfold around us.
As the moon rises higher in the sky, the world beneath it is bathed in its gentle glow. The shadows are softer now, stretched and elongated, but there is a quiet beauty in the way the light caresses the landscape. The dance between light and shadow continues, a rhythm that has been unfolding since the beginning of time. In the quiet of the night, we realize that we are part of this dance, part of the larger rhythm of the universe. Just as the moon shines its light on the earth, casting long shadows, so too do we cast our own light into the world, shaping the shadows around us. The light and the shadow are reflections of our own journeys, each one shaping the other in ways we may not always see, but which are no less profound. The dance of light and shadow is a reminder that everything is in constant motion. The day gives way to the night, the light gives way to the dark, and we too move through these cycles in our own lives. There are times when we are bathed in light, filled with clarity and purpose, and times when we find ourselves in the shadows, uncertain of the way ahead. But both the light and the shadow are essential to our growth, to our understanding of the world and of ourselves. We are both light and shadow, moving through time, shaping our lives with each step per moment. And in the quiet spaces between the light and the dark, we find our place in the dance. As the world moves into the quiet hours of the night, we find ourselves reflecting on the intricate balance between light and shadow. The moon, now high in the sky, casts its gentle glow across the earth, but the shadows still stretch long, embracing the landscape with their quiet, steadfast presence. In these hours, the world feels more intimate, more connected to the timeless dance that we are all part of. The light and the shadow do not compete with one another. They complement, each shaping the other. The moonlight, though soft and pale, illuminates the shadows, giving them a depth and richness that would otherwise go unnoticed. The dance continues quietly, unnoticed by many, yet it shapes every moment of our lives. In the darkness of the night, we often find ourselves in the shadow, uncertain of what lies ahead. These are the moments when time seems to slow, when the world feels vast and full of mysteries. But even in the shadow there is a comfort. Just as the moon's light softly touches the earth, so too does the darkness invite us to slow down, to rest, to reflect. In the quiet of the night, the shadows allow us to pause, to catch our breath before the light returns. There is no rush. Time moves differently here, in the space between light and dark. The shadows are not something to fear, but something to embrace, for they remind us that without darkness, we could not appreciate the light. As the night deepens, the shadows grow longer, yet the light never truly disappears. It is there, beneath the surface, waiting to emerge when the time is right. The dance of light and shadow is not a battle. It is a collaboration, an exchange of energies that creates the rhythm of the world. It is in this space between the dark and the light that we find balance. We are, each of us, like the shadows and the light, moving through life in cycles, shifting between moments of clarity and moments of uncertainty. There are times when we feel the warmth of the sun, and other times when we find ourselves in the cool embrace of the night. But both the light and the shadow are necessary. They shape who we are, how we grow, and how we understand the passage of time. In the early hours of the morning, just before the sun rises, there is a moment when the world seems to hold its breath. The light has not yet fully broken through the horizon, but the shadows are already beginning to shift slowly, imperceptibly. It is in this moment of quiet transition that we see the true magic of the dance of light and shadow. The darkness is not a permanent state, but a passage, a quiet time of reflection before the day begins. The light, though it may seem distant, is always there, just beyond the horizon, ready to bring warmth and clarity to the world once more. The dance between light and shadow is a reminder that everything is in constant flux, moving from light to dark, from clarity to uncertainty, from one moment to the next. And as the sun rises, the shadows once again recede, pushed back by the warmth and clarity of the light. The world awakens, bathed in the light of the morning, and the dance continues. But the shadows are never far behind. They wait in the corners, in the spaces between things, ready to return when the day fades. The light and the shadow are not opposites, but two halves of the same whole. They are both necessary to create the world we know, to give depth and meaning to our experience of time. The dance between them is a delicate balance, one that plays out each day, each moment, shaping the rhythm of our lives. As we go through our days, we move between moments of light and moments of shadow, each one offering us something different. The light brings clarity, warmth, and energy, while the shadow offers rest, reflection, and a quiet space for growth. Both are essential to our journey. The dance between light and shadow is not just a natural phenomenon, but a metaphor for the way we live. We experience both light and dark in our lives, the moments of brilliance and the moments of doubt, and both are part of our story. The shadows teach us patience, humility, and the importance of slowing down. The light shows us the way forward, illuminating the path and filling us with purpose. And in the quiet spaces between, we learn to embrace both, knowing that they are the two halves of the same cycle, moving in rhythm with the passage of time. As we reflect on the dance of light and shadow, we realize that it is a timeless rhythm that moves through everything. It is not just the sun and the moon that dance in this way, but all things. The seasons shift from light to dark, from growth to rest, from life to death and back again. The stars themselves, though far away, follow the same rhythm, shining brightly in the night, casting their light into the darkness, and then fading into the void. Time, like the dance of light and shadow, is not a straight line but a cycle. It moves, constantly shifting between moments of clarity and uncertainty, of joy and sorrow, of light and shadow. And in this dance we find our place, moving with time, embracing both the light and the shadow, knowing that each is essential to our journey. A second passes so quick and quiet that we often don't notice it, yet in that fleeting moment something happens. A thought flickers in our mind, a breeze rustles the leaves, or the light shifts ever so slightly. The second, though small and imperceptible, carries with it a quiet weight, a subtle shift in the fabric of time. It is in these tiny moments that the world unfolds piece by piece, a never-ending cascade of seconds that blend together to form our lives. We often think of time in larger chunks, minutes, hours, days, but the second is the true measure of life's flow. It is the heartbeat of time, the rhythm that carries us forward, one moment at a time. If we stop and listen, we can almost hear the passing of each second. It is a soft sound, like the ticking of a distant clock, or the gentle rhythm of a heart beating in the chest. Each second brings with it the potential for change, the possibility of something new, and yet we rarely pause to notice it. We are caught up in the rush of the day, moving from one task to the next, unaware of the quiet passage of time that surrounds us. But even in our hurry, the seconds continue, slipping away from us, forming the story of our lives. Each one, though fleeting, is a part of a larger narrative, a narrative that stretches across time like a river flowing toward the horizon. The memory of a second is something that we carry with us, even though it may seem insignificant at first. It is in the small, quiet moments that we often find the most meaning. A smile exchanged between two strangers, the sound of a child's laughter, the soft touch of a hand on a shoulder. These are the seconds that we remember, the moments that stay with us long after they have passed. Time, in its infinite flow, moves through us in these brief, beautiful moments, shaping our memories and our sense of self. The second, though it may seem small, holds within it a world of experience, a snapshot of life that we carry with us always. In the grand scheme of time, a second may seem like nothing. It is here and then gone, lost in the flow of everything that follows. But if we look closer, we see that each second is a building block, a part of the foundation that holds up the structure of our lives. Just as a single grain of sand is small and seemingly insignificant, yet it contributes to the vastness of the desert, so too does each second contribute to the endlessness of time. It is easy to overlook these small moments, to think that they do not matter, but it is these very moments that shape the course of our days, our years, our entire existence. Time is not a line that moves steadily forward. It is a collection of seconds, each one flowing into the next, creating a tapestry of moments that tells the story of who we are. When we look back on our lives, it is often the seconds that stand out, the fleeting moments that at the time seemed so small but now hold a depth of meaning. We remember the quiet moments of connection, the shared looks, the soft exchanges that in that instant seem to hold the weight of the world. It is these seconds, these small moments, that create the memories we hold dear. The memory of a second is not just the recollection of a specific event, but the feeling that comes with it, the warmth of a smile, the comfort of a touch, the peace of simply being in the presence of another. These seconds, though they pass in the blink of an eye, are the ones that we carry with us like treasures, long after they have slipped away. And yet, even as we remember these moments, we know that they are fleeting. The second is always moving forward, always carrying us to the next moment. But in that forward movement, there is beauty. Each second is a part of something larger, a part of the infinite flow of time that connects us all. It is in the memory of the second that we find the richness of life, the depth of our experiences, and the connections that make us who we are. Time may be an endless river, but it is the seconds that make up its current, each one unique, each one valuable, each one a reminder of the beauty of the present moment. The beauty of a second is that it's both fleeting and everlasting. It passes almost unnoticed, yet in the memory of that second we can find an entire world. A second can contain the weight of a lifetime, a feeling that lingers long after the moment has slipped away. Think of a sunset, where the sky blazes in hues of red and orange for only a few minutes. But within that brief moment, there is a memory, a feeling of awe, of wonder, of being connected to something far greater than ourselves. That memory, though it lasts only in our minds, holds the power to transform our lives. It is in these fleeting moments that we find the essence of time, the way it can both pass us by and remain with us, shaping who we are long after it has passed. Sometimes we are caught in the rush of time, always moving forward, never pausing to look back at the seconds that have slipped by. The world spins, and we follow along, rarely stopping to notice the small moments that make up the fabric of our days. Yet there are times when time seems to slow, when the seconds stretch and expand, and we are fully present in the moment. It may be in the quiet stillness of the morning, when the world is just beginning to wake up, or in the soft hum of the night, when everything feels peaceful and still. In these moments, we feel the weight of time in a way that is both comforting and profound. We realize that it's not the years that matter most, but the seconds that fill them, each one unique, each one precious, each one a reminder of the passing of time and the depth of our experiences. Even the smallest moments can have a profound impact on our lives. A glance, a word, a gesture. These seconds, though they seem insignificant at the time, can change the course of our lives in ways we cannot always see. Perhaps it is a smile shared between two strangers, a brief encounter that sparks a lifelong friendship, or a fleeting moment of kindness that leaves a lasting impression. These seconds, seemingly so small, hold within them the power to shape our future, to guide us down paths we never imagined. It is in the quiet exchanges, the unspoken connections that we often find the most meaning. Time moves in these small, unnoticed moments, weaving them into the tapestry of our lives. We often think of time as a force that moves relentlessly forward, sweeping us along with it. And yet, there are moments when we are able to pause, to capture a second, and to hold it in our hearts. These are the moments when time feels like a gift, when we are fully aware of the present, and we know that this second, this breath, this heartbeat is all we have. We live in a world that is constantly moving, always rushing toward the next thing, but in the stillness, in the quiet of the second, we are reminded of the beauty of simply being. Time becomes not something that is fleeting, but something that we can hold on to, something that we can savor and treasure. In these moments, we realize that we do not need to chase time. It is already with us, in every second, in every breath, in every heartbeat. The memory of a second is not just a recollection of a specific event. It is a feeling that we carry with us. It is the warmth of the sun on our skin, the sound of laughter shared with a loved one, the stillness of a quiet night. These memories are not tied to the hours or the days, but to the seconds that made them special. And though the seconds pass, their imprint remains. It is in the memory of these moments that we find our connection to the world, to each other, and to ourselves. The seconds we live, though small and brief, are the ones that shape the course of our lives, the ones that we remember long after they have passed. As we move through time, we often forget the importance of the second. We measure our lives in years, in milestones, in events, but it is in the seconds, the tiny moments, the small exchanges, that we truly experience the passage of time. Each second is a reminder that we are alive, that we are here, and that we are part of something larger than ourselves. Time moves forward, carrying us with it, but it is the seconds that we hold in our hearts, the ones we remember, that make life meaningful. The memory of a second is not just the recollection of the past, but the recognition of how that moment has shaped us, how it has stayed with us, and how it continues to live on long after the second has passed. As we grow older, we begin to see the power of a second more clearly. What was once a fleeting and unnoticed fragment of time becomes something we hold with reverence. We start to realize that each second, though it seems so small, is woven into the very fabric of who we are. Every moment is a piece of our story, every second a brushstroke on the canvas of our lives. When we look back, it is not always the grand events that stand out, but the quiet seconds that shape our memories. It is the moments that seemed insignificant at the time, the first time we held someone's hand, the brief glance that spoke volumes, the soft silence between words, that we remember the most. There is a beauty in the transience of a second, in the way it comes and goes so swiftly. Perhaps it is this fleeting nature that makes it so precious. We cannot hold on to the second, and yet, in that very impermanence, there is a kind of grace. Just as a flower blooms and fades, its beauty existing only in the present moment, so too do the seconds we experience. They are here, and then they are gone, but in their passing, they leave a mark, a memory that lasts far longer than the moment itself. The memory of a second is not just about recalling the event, but about feeling the emotion that accompanied it, the joy of a shared laugh, the peace of a quiet evening, the love that lingered in a look. In the rush of life, we often forget to appreciate the small moments, the seconds that pass unnoticed. We are so caught up in the larger events, in the plans and the schedules, that we forget to pause and savor the present. And yet, it is in these small moments that life truly happens. A second can change everything. A single moment can alter the course of our day, our week, or even our life. The briefest exchange, the softest touch, can create a memory that we carry with us forever. The seconds may be small, but the impact they leave can be profound. It is in these quiet moments that we learn to truly live, to be present, to embrace the fullness of time, 1 second at a time. The memory of a second is also a reminder of the fleeting nature of time itself. Time, like the seconds it is made of, is always moving forward, always slipping away. We cannot stop it, nor can we slow it down, but in this truth there is a lesson. The seconds remind us that life is precious, that every moment is worth savouring, because we do not know which moment will be our last. Each second is a gift, a fleeting opportunity to be alive, to experience the world, to connect with others. And when we look back on our lives, it is the seconds, not the years, that we remember most clearly. It is the moments we spent laughing, the moments of quiet reflection, the seconds of connection with those we love that define the story of our lives. In this way, the memory of a second becomes a reflection of time itself, a reflection of its beauty and its transience. The second is a constant reminder that time is not something to be feared or measured, but something to be embraced, something to be experienced fully. Every second we live is an opportunity to make a memory, to create something that will last beyond the moment itself. And as we live through each second, we carry its memory with us, shaping who we are, who we become, and how we move through the world. The memory of a second is a quiet, constant companion, always there, always with us. Even as time moves on, those seconds stay with us, etched into our hearts, woven into the story of our lives. And in the end, it is not the passing of years that matters most, but the seconds we spend living fully, living in the moment, and making the most of every precious instant. For in those seconds, we find the essence of time, both fleeting and eternal, both small and profound, and in that, we find the richness of life itself. In the vast stretches of the universe, time flows like an endless river, its currents sweeping through galaxies, stars, and planets. Yet there are moments, pockets of space and time, where time seems to stand still. These moments, like pauses in the grand melody of existence, are rare and precious. We often forget that time is not just a measure of our days, but a force that shapes everything. The very fabric of the universe is woven together by time, each star and planet marking a moment in its endless flow. And yet, even as time moves forward, it can seem as though it holds something more, something deeper, something forgotten, waiting to be rediscovered. Imagine for a moment an ancient hourglass, its sand slipping slowly, endlessly through its narrow neck. Each grain of sand is a moment, a fragment of time slipping from the past into the future. The hourglass, though small and humble, holds the rhythm of the universe within it. And yet, it is a symbol of something more, the passage of time and the way in which moments fall away, one after another, until they are no more. In the grand scheme of the cosmos, the hourglass may seem insignificant, its moments tiny in comparison to the vastness of space. But it is in these small, fleeting grains that we find the true nature of time, quiet, persistent, and ever-moving, like the sands that slip through the glass. We too are caught in the dance of time, just as the hourglass is. Every moment of our lives is a grain of sand, slipping through the fingers of time never to return. But unlike the grains of sand, we have the gift of awareness, the ability to look back and remember the moments that have shaped us. Time does not wait for us to catch up. It moves forward, carrying everything with it. The hourglass, though simple, holds a mirror up to the universe, reflecting the way in which time shapes all things. Each grain of sand that falls is like a star being born, a planet forming, or a life beginning and ending. Time is not just a force that moves through space, it is the very substance of space itself, the thread that holds everything together. As we look up at the stars, we are reminded that the universe itself is a vast cosmic hourglass. Each star, each planet, each galaxy is a moment in time, a point in the endless flow of existence. Some of these moments are bright, shining with the light of creation, while others fade quietly into the darkness, their light long extinguished. Yet even in their fading, these stars leave their mark, just as every moment of our lives leaves an imprint on the universe. The hourglass is not just a symbol of time's passage, It is a reminder that every moment counts, that every grain of sand matters, even if we do not see it in the grand tapestry of existence. The universe itself is filled with forgotten hourglasses, moments that have slipped into the past, never to be seen again. And yet these forgotten moments are not lost. They are the foundation upon which the future is built. Each moment that passes is part of a greater whole, a piece of the puzzle that shapes the universe and everything within it. Time is not just a measurement. It is a force that connects everything, that moves through every atom, every galaxy, every thought. The forgotten hourglass of the universe is not a thing that is lost or irrelevant. It is part of the eternal rhythm of existence, a reminder that every second, every grain of sand is both fleeting and eternal. In our own lives, we often forget how deeply we are connected to the flow of time. We see time as a linear progression, past, present, future. But in reality, time is much more fluid. It is a river, ever moving, with moments flowing in and out of our lives, shaping us, changing us. We are part of the hourglass, just as the stars are part of the cosmic hourglass of the universe. Every moment we live, every decision we make is a grain of sand slipping through the glass, part of the larger flow of existence. And though the grains of sand may be small, they are never insignificant. Each one holds the power to shape the future, to create something new, to leave behind a memory, a mark, an imprint on the universe. Time, like the hourglass, is both an illusion and a reality. It moves forward, carrying us with it, and yet it is also something that we can never truly hold in our hands. It slips away from us, no matter how tightly we try to grasp it. But perhaps that is the beauty of time, the way it moves, the way it carries us forward, the way it shapes us. The forgotten hourglass of the universe reminds us that even though time moves on, it leaves behind something of value. The moments that make up our lives, the memories we create, the way we shape the world around us, one fleeting second at a time. As the universe stretches out, its moments unfold one after another, like grains of sand through the endless neck of an hourglass. But even though time seems to move forward in a relentless current, there are places where it seems to slow, where the sands gather and pause, as if holding their breath before continuing on their way. These are the moments that we often overlook, the quiet pauses between one event and the next, the spaces between our breaths, the stillness between the stars. In these moments, time feels different. It is not bound by the clock, by the hours or the minutes. It is not something that can be measured or controlled. Instead, time becomes something we experience in its purest form, a flow, a pulse, a rhythm that moves through us and the world around us. Imagine standing beneath the vast night sky, gazing up at the stars. Each star is a point of light in the vast expanse of space, a reminder of the incredible distance between them and us. But in that moment, the distance between the stars seems to collapse, the seconds stretch and time seems to pause. The rhythm of the universe slows, and all that remains is the stillness of the moment. There is no past or future, only the present. In that moment, you are both infinite and small, connected to the universe by the very fabric of time itself. And in that stillness, the forgotten hourglass of the universe reveals itself. Time, not as a measurement of seconds, but as a presence, a feeling that surrounds us, shapes us, and carries us forward. In the vastness of the cosmos, we often forget that time is not just a human construct. It is a force that governs everything, from the birth of stars to the formation of galaxies to the rhythm of the Earth's seasons. Time is not just something that we experience in our daily lives. It is something that moves through the entire universe, shaping the very fabric of existence. Each second, each moment, each grain of sand that falls through the hourglass is a piece of the universe's story, a step in the eternal dance of creation and destruction, of birth and death. And yet, in all its vastness, time is also something deeply personal. It is the quiet breath we take, the heartbeat that echoes in our chest, the fleeting moments that we hold dear. The forgotten hourglass of the universe is not something that is lost or forgotten. It is simply a part of the eternal rhythm of time, moving through all things, shaping them as it goes. The grains of sand may be small, but they are never insignificant. They are the moments that make up the vast story of the universe. The moments that create the future, that shape the past, that build the present. Just as the stars form and die in a constant cycle, so too do we live our lives, moving through moments, through seconds, through grains of sand. Each one is part of something larger, something infinite, something that stretches across the cosmos and connects all things. We are not separate from time, but part of it, woven into its fabric, shaped by its passage, its flow. As we move through our lives, we often forget to notice the small moments, the ones that pass in the blink of an eye, the ones that slip through the cracks of our busy days. Yet it is in these moments that time truly reveals its power. The quiet exchange between two people, the moment of stillness before a decision is made, the pause between breaths, they are the grains of sand, the seconds that make up the story of our lives. And it is in these quiet, forgotten moments that the hourglass of the universe turns. We are part of it all, part of the great flow of time, a thread in the intricate tapestry of existence. The universe does not rush. It unfolds slowly, one moment at a time, each grain of sand falling at its own pace, each second stretching into eternity. And yet, in our lives, we often feel the need to hurry, to move faster, to chase the seconds that slip away. But perhaps time is not something to chase. Perhaps it is something to experience, to feel, to live within. The forgotten hourglass of the universe invites us to pause, to breathe, and to savor the moment. It reminds us that every second, no matter how small, is a part of something greater, a piece of the endless dance of time that connects us all. In the quiet stillness of the universe, time is not a force that controls us, but one that we move with, one that we flow through. It is a constant companion, shaping our lives, shaping the world, shaping the stars and the galaxies. And as we move through each moment, each second, we become part of the rhythm, part of the flow, part of the forgotten hourglass of the universe. The grains of sand may fall quietly, but they are never unnoticed. They are the pulse of existence, the heartbeat of time, the memory of everything that has come before, and the promise of everything yet to come. In the grand cosmic story, the forgotten hourglass of the universe is both a symbol and a reminder. It is a symbol of the endless flow of time, a time that stretches far beyond our understanding, far beyond the confines of our daily lives. And yet, within that endless flow, there are moments, seconds, grains of sand that are meaningful, that hold the essence of life itself. We often think of time as a straight line, a linear progression from past to future, but perhaps it is more like an hourglass, ever turning, ever changing. Each grain of sand is both a beginning and an end, a moment that shapes all that comes after it, that is shaped by all that came before it. The past and the future are not distant points, but woven together, part of the same endless dance. The stars themselves are a reflection of this dance. Born from the swirling dust of time, they shine brightly for a while, illuminating the vastness of space before they fade away, their light travelling across eons to reach us. In their light, we see the memory of time, a memory that stretches back to the very beginning of the universe. Yet even as stars die and fade, they leave behind something precious, new elements, new possibilities. The hourglass continues to turn even as the stars themselves are extinguished. Time does not stop, it simply shifts, reshaping everything in its path. What was once part of a star becomes part of a new story, a new beginning, a new moment in the grand flow of time. And so we too are part of this flow. Like the stars, we are born, we shine, and we fade, our moments lasting only as long as they need to. Our lives are made up of seconds, moments that slip through our fingers, never to return. Yet, like the stars, we leave behind something, memories, experiences, moments of connection that continue long after we have gone. The forgotten hourglass of the universe is not about the moments we lose, but about the moments we make, the moments we share. Time may be relentless, but it is also full of beauty, full of meaning, if we only take the time to look, to feel, to live within it. In the quiet moments of reflection, we come to understand that the hourglass is not something we should fear, but something we should embrace. It is a reminder that our time is limited, but that limitation is what makes it precious. The grains of sand may fall quickly, but in their falling, they create something beautiful, a story, a life, a memory. Time, in all its complexity, is a gift, a chance to experience the world, to connect with others, to live fully. And in that gift, there is both beauty and grace, a rhythm that carries us forward, 1 second at a time. The forgotten hourglass is not just a symbol of time's passage, but a reminder that every second counts. It is a call to live in the present, to savor the moments, to understand that even the smallest moments, the quietest seconds, are part of a larger story. Time, though it may slip away, leaves its mark on us. It shapes us, molds us, and moves us forward. The grains of sand may fall one by one, but together they create the landscape of the universe, the landscape of our lives. Each second is a chance to make something meaningful, to leave a mark on the world, to create a memory that will last long after the sand has slipped through the glass. As we continue our journey through time, we are reminded of the hourglass. We may not always see it, but it is always there, quietly turning, carrying us through the moments of our lives. It reminds us that time is not something to be controlled, but something to be experienced, to be embraced. We are part of the dance of light and shadow, of birth and death, of beginnings and endings, and in that dance we find our place, our purpose, our rhythm. The forgotten hourglass of the universe is not forgotten at all. It is alive, turning with each second, shaping the course of everything 1 moment at a time. There is a space, a quiet pause between each heartbeat, a moment that often goes unnoticed. It is a place where time seems to slow, where the rhythm of life itself becomes soft and almost imperceptible. In the stillness between heartbeats, we are reminded that there is more to existence than the constant motion of life. It is in these fleeting pauses, when the world is held in suspension, that we come closest to understanding the true nature of time. Imagine for a moment listening to your own heartbeat, the steady thumb, the pulse that moves through your chest, that marks each moment of your life. And then, just before the next beat, there is a pause, a space where everything is still. It is not an absence. It is a presence, a small infinity of time that exists between one moment and the next. In the silence, there is a quiet awareness, a stillness that is both peaceful and profound. It is a reminder that even in the rush of life, even in the constant movement, there are moments of calm, of deep presence that pass by so quickly that we hardly notice them. The stillness between heartbeats is a brief interlude, a pause in the rhythm of the time that moves through us, not only in our bodies but in the world around us. Life itself pulses in rhythms, rising and falling like waves, shifting between moments of activity and rest, light and shadow. But it is in the pause, in the spaces between those rhythms, that we come closest to understanding what it means to be alive, to be present in the world. We are not just defined by the movements of our lives, but by the stillness that lies between them, the quiet moments that allow us to breathe, to reflect, and to simply be. The heartbeat is a powerful symbol of time. It marks the passage of every second, every minute, every hour of our lives. And yet the space between heartbeats is just as important. It is a reminder that life is not just about the rush of time, but about the quiet moments that allow us to experience it fully. We often focus on the things we can see, the actions we take, the events that unfold around us. But it is the stillness, the silent pauses, that truly define our experience. It is in these pauses that we find peace, that we can hear the world around us, and that we can hear our own hearts. Each heartbeat is a reminder that we are alive, that time is moving forward, that the world continues to spin. But the space between heartbeats is just as important. It is the moment when everything is still, when the world is silent, and when time seems to hold its breath. In that stillness we find clarity. We find our connection to the present moment. We are not moving forward or backward. We are simply existing, simply being. And in that simple act of being, we find a deep sense of peace. The stillness between heartbeats is not just a physical experience. It is a metaphor for the spaces we encounter in life. The moments of pause, of rest, of reflection, when everything seems to slow down. These are the moments when we can truly connect with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. In a world that is always moving, always rushing, it is the stillness between the heartbeats that allows us to hear the quiet rhythm of life. It is in these spaces that we can feel time not as something that we must chase, but as something that we are already a part of. In the stillness between heartbeats, time becomes both a friend and a teacher. It shows us that life is not just about the moments of action, the bursts of energy that propel us forward. It is also about the quiet spaces, the moments of calm that allow us to rest, to breathe, to exist without the constant push of time. These pauses are often fleeting, and yet they carry with them a sense of peace, of balance that we cannot find in the rush of life. In the heartbeat of the world there is a rhythm, yes, but there is also a silence, a space that is just as important as the sound. Imagine the early hours of the morning when the world is still, when the first light of the day begins to stretch across the horizon. In those moments, the world feels as though it is holding its breath, waiting for the day to begin. The air is cool and quiet, the birds have not yet begun their song, and everything is suspended in the pause between night and day. It is in these moments, when time seems to slow, that we often find our deepest clarity. We can feel the world awakening around us, but there is no urgency, no rush. Everything moves at its own pace, and in that stillness, we are reminded that we do not have to rush either. We are part of this rhythm, this flow, and it is in the pauses between the beats that we find our place. The stillness between heartbeats is like the moment before a storm breaks, when the air is thick with anticipation, but nothing yet has happened. It is the space between breaths, the calm before the wind picks up, the hush of nature holding its breath. In those moments there is a quiet tension, a sense that something is about to happen, yet there is no movement, no rush. Everything is poised in the balance, waiting. It is in these moments that we realize that time is not something we need to chase, it is already here, in the pause, in the quiet, in the space between. And in that space there is room to just be, to listen, to feel. Think of the space between words, those quiet pauses in conversation when the thoughts linger just before they are spoken. It is in these moments that we find the true depth of communication, the unspoken understanding, the connection that exists beyond words. The space between heartbeats is like the silence between those words. It is a pause where meaning can be found in the absence of sound, in the stillness. Just as the silence between words can carry as much weight as the words themselves, the stillness between heartbeats carries with it a deep, quiet meaning. It is a reminder that we are always present, always connected to the rhythm of life, whether we are aware of it or not. When we take a moment to pause, to sit in the stillness, we allow ourselves to connect with that deeper rhythm. In the rush of life, we often forget that we are part of a larger flow, part of something that moves far beyond our own lives. The stillness between heartbeats is not just a moment of pause, but a reminder that time is something that flows through all of us, through everything. It is the space where we can feel the pulse of the world, the heartbeat of the universe itself. And when we embrace that stillness, we come to understand that we do not need to chase time. It is already here, moving through us, shaping our lives and carrying us forward, one moment at a time. The stillness between heartbeats is also a reminder that everything has its time. Just as the heart beats when it needs to, just as the world shifts with the rising and setting of the sun, so too do we move through our own cycles. We are part of this larger rhythm, part of a cycle that has been unfolding for eons. The stillness between heartbeats is a reflection of the larger cycles of life, the way the seasons shift, the way the earth spins, the way everything moves in harmony with the passage of time. It is in this stillness that we come to understand the deeper rhythms of life, the patterns that shape our existence, the pulse that carries us forward even when we are not aware of it. In the space between the heartbeats, we also find the opportunity to reflect, to pause and look back at the moments that have passed. The stillness allows us to gather ourselves, to take stock of where we have been and where we are going. It is a moment of clarity, of understanding, when the noise of the world fades away and we are left with just the quiet rhythm of our own existence. It is in this pause, this space between moments, that we come to understand the fullness of life, the way time moves, the way it shapes us, the way we move with it, flowing through its currents like the heartbeat of the world. In the stillness between heartbeats, we come to realize that time, though it constantly moves forward, holds within it moments of rest, of peace, of quiet reflection. The world often moves too quickly, pushing us from one task to the next, urging us to rush through our days without taking the time to pause. But in the quiet of the heartbeat's space, we learn that there is no need to rush. Life moves in its own rhythm, and it is only when we step back, when we slow down, that we can feel the true depth of time's passage. The stillness is not an absence, it is a presence, one that surrounds us and shapes the moments we experience. Think of the moments when you stop to breathe, when the world around you quiets, and the rush of life slows just enough for you to hear the pulse of your own being. It is in these moments of pause, of stillness, that we come face to face with our own existence. Time moves forward, yes, but in the pause between heartbeats, we realize that we are more than the sum of our busy days. We are beings of time shaped by it, shaped by the moments we live, but also by the moments we rest in. The quiet stillness is the backdrop against which our lives unfold. It is the space where we find ourselves, where we reconnect with the essence of who we are. When we experience the stillness, we see that time is not just a sequence of events. It is the space between those events that gives them meaning. Every moment, every second that passes is defined not only by the actions we take, but by the quiet moments we allow ourselves to simply be. The stillness between heartbeats is a reminder that time, like the rhythm of life, is made up of both the loud and the quiet, both the action and the rest. And in the moments of rest, we find the deepest understanding of who we are and what it means to live fully in time. The stillness between heartbeats also speaks to the way we move through life. Just as the heart does not beat in an endless rush, neither should we. There is a pace to life that we often overlook, a rhythm that moves through everything, one that requires balance. The stillness teaches us that we need not move constantly, that we are not defined by our speed, by our productivity, by the endless ticking of the clock. We are defined by how we live in the pauses, in the moments of silence, in the times when we allow ourselves to breathe deeply and simply be. Time does not always demand our action. Sometimes it asks only for our presence. In the heart stillness, we are reminded that life is a series of rhythms, of beats and pauses, of moments that come and go. We cannot rush through time, nor can we slow it down, but we can choose how we experience it. We can choose to live in the spaces between the moments, to allow the stillness to wash over us and to carry us forward with a sense of peace, of balance. When we pause, when we take a step back from the busyness of life, we come to realize that the space between heartbeats is not an interruption, but a necessity. It is in that space that we find the rhythm of our existence. The stillness between heartbeats is also a reminder of the impermanence of time. Just as the space between one heartbeat and the next is brief, so too is each moment of our lives. We often think of time as something to be measured, something to be controlled. But perhaps time is meant to be experienced, to be felt in the quiet spaces that fill our days. Each second, each heartbeat, is a fleeting moment, never to return. And it is in the understanding of that fleetingness, in the stillness that accompanies each passing second, that we come to appreciate the beauty of time. It is in the spaces between, in the pauses that we often overlook, that the true beauty of time is revealed. In the quiet between heartbeats, we find peace, we find connection to ourselves, to each other, and to the world around us. Time may move forward, but the stillness reminds us that it is not just the moments of action that define our lives, but also the moments of rest. We are a part of the rhythm of the universe, a part of the flow of time, and in the spaces between the beats, we come to understand that time is both fleeting and eternal, both a force that carries us forward and in a presence that shapes us as we move through it. In the stillness, we are free to be, to exist fully, to embrace the beauty of each passing moment. Beneath our feet, the earth beats in quiet rhythms, its pulse steady and constant. We rarely notice it, this soft movement, this gentle flow of time that moves through the planet itself. Yet it is there, woven into the fabric of the land, the seas, the air we breathe. The earth's rhythm is a dance as old as time, a pulse that has been moving through the planet since its beginning, shaping the world we know today. From the rise and fall of the tides to the slow turn of the seasons, time flows through the earth in ways we often take for granted, yet they are the very heartbeat of existence. Imagine standing in the quiet of the forest, the ground beneath you cool and firm. If you listen closely, you can almost feel the pulse of the earth beneath your feet. It is subtle, almost imperceptible, but it is there. The trees sway in the wind, their leaves rustling softly. But there is something deeper happening. The roots of the trees stretch down into the soil, their tiny fibers searching for water, their growth dependent on the slow movement of time that flows through the earth's core. The seasons too mark the earth's pulse. Spring brings life, summer offers warmth, autumn prepares for rest, and winter holds the quiet space before the cycle begins again. These are the subtle beats of time, the way the earth moves, breathes, and shifts without our even realizing it. The pulse of the earth is not loud or demanding. It does not shout to be noticed. Instead, it moves quietly through the world, shaping everything in its path with patience and grace. The mountains rise slowly over millions of years. The rivers carve their paths through the land, and the oceans shift in a rhythm that is ancient and unhurried. Time on earth does not rush. It flows in its own way, moving in cycles that repeat with the steady beat of a drum, one moment following the next without haste, without urgency. The earth teaches us that time is not something to be conquered or mastered, but something to be experienced in its own time, in its own rhythm. The stillness of the earth's pulse is mirrored in the way nature itself moves. Animals too follow the rhythms of time. The birds that migrate with the seasons, the flowers that bloom when the air warms, the animals that hibernate during the winter, they are all connected to the quiet pulse of the earth. Their lives are shaped by the same slow, steady beat that moves through the land, the sea, and the sky. It is a rhythm that is as old as the planet itself, a pulse that has been there since the earth first began to spin. And just like the creatures of the world, we too are part of this rhythm, moving through time in the same steady, unhurried way. If we stop for a moment and listen, we can feel the earth's pulse beneath us. It is the quiet hum of the world, the steady heartbeat that has carried life forward since the beginning of time. It is not something we can touch, but it is something we can feel, deep in our bones, deep in the spaces between the breaths we take. The earth's pulse is a reminder that time is not a thing that belongs to us alone. It is a force that shapes everything, that moves through all of life, creating rhythms, cycles, and patterns that repeat over and over again. It is the quiet pulse that carries us forward, one beat at a time into the unknown future. The earth's pulse, though quiet, is full of life, And it is in this pulse that time unfolds its deepest truths. Each movement, whether large or small, is part of a larger rhythm, a rhythm that connects all things. The rivers flow with the steady beat of time, carving valleys and shaping the land with each passing day. The wind whispers its song through the trees, carrying with it the essence of the seasons, marking time in the quiet rustle of leaves. The earth itself moves slowly, imperceptibly, yet each shift is a reminder that time is not static. It is constantly flowing, changing, and yet, in its change, it remains the same. The earth's pulse carries the past, the present, and the future all in one, a continuous rhythm that never stops, never ceases. The change of seasons offers a profound reflection on the pulse of time. In the spring, life bursts forth, tender shoots of green breaking through the earth, flowers opening their petals to the sun. This is the moment when time feels alive with possibility, a new beginning, a renewal. The earth seems to take a deep breath, exhaling warmth and life into the world. Summer follows, warm and full of energy, a time of growth and expansion. The earth's pulse beats faster, the days stretch longer, and the life that began in spring reaches toward its fullest expression. Time in these moments feels as though it is moving with us, pushing us forward into the fullness of life. But as the earth's pulse shifts, so too do the rhythms of time. Autumn arrives, bringing with it a soft slowing, a turning inward. The leaves, once bright and full of life, begin to change colour, turning shades of gold and amber before they fall to the ground. It is a time of reflection, a moment to gather the harvest, to prepare for the quieter months ahead. The earth, though still alive with energy, begins to rest. The pulse slows, the days grow shorter, and the world around us becomes quieter, more still. Time, it seems, moves more slowly as we step into the rhythm of autumn, taking the time to prepare for what is to come. We too are shaped by this slowing pulse as we pause to reflect on the year's growth and prepare for what lies ahead. And then, winter comes, bringing with it a deep stillness. The earth's pulse slows even further, and the world seems to rest in the quiet darkness. The trees stand bare, their branches etched against the sky, the ground covered with a blanket of snow. In the cold stillness, there is a kind of peace. Time seems to hold its breath, waiting for the moment when the pulse will quicken once more. Yet even in the stillness, there is a subtle movement. Beneath the snow, the ground is hard at work, preparing for the return of spring. The earth's pulse continues even when it cannot be seen, even when it is hidden beneath layers of snow and ice. In the silence of winter, we are reminded that time is always moving, always flowing, even when it feels like everything is still. This cycle, the pulse of the earth moving through the seasons, is a reminder of the natural rhythms that govern our lives. Just as the earth moves from one season to the next, so too do we move through cycles in our own lives. There are times when we feel alive with possibility, when the pulse of life seems to beat strongly within us, driving us forward. And there are times when we feel the quiet of autumn, the slowing down, the need for rest and reflection. We too experience moments of stillness, of waiting, of preparing for the next phase of our lives. The pulse of the earth is a mirror to our own cycles, a reminder that time moves through us in much the same way it moves through the world around us. The pulse of the earth is not something we control, nor is it something we can stop. It moves with its own rhythm, its own cycle, a pattern that has been unfolding for millions of years. And yet, in that movement we find a sense of connection to the world around us. We are not separate from the earth. We are part of its pulse, part of its flow. The quiet rhythms of time that shape the seasons, the land, the oceans, also shape us. Just as the earth moves through its cycles, so do we. We grow, we change, we rest, and we begin again. And in that endless rhythm we find peace, knowing that time moves with us, shaping our lives in ways we cannot always see but that are no less profound. The quiet pulse of the earth teaches us that time is not something to be rushed or controlled. It is something to be lived, to be felt, to be embraced. The earth moves at its own pace, its pulse steady and constant, shaping the world around us. And in that pulse we find the rhythm of life, the rhythm of time itself, flowing through us, carrying us forward, one beat at a time. As the earth's pulse beats through the seasons, so too does it resonate in the very cycles of life itself. We often think of time as linear, one moment leading to the next, one year following the previous, but the pulse of the earth reveals a deeper truth. Time in its essence is cyclical. Just as the sun rises and sets, just as the moon waxes and wanes, just as the tides flow and recede, so too do the moments of our lives. We are shaped by these rhythms, moving through phases of growth, rest, reflection, and renewal, much like the earth moves through its own cycles. The pulse of the earth reminds us that there is no need to rush through life. Everything has its season, and in the quiet of that realization, we find peace. Imagine for a moment standing by the ocean. The waves, ever persistent, roll onto the shore, retreating back into the vastness of the sea, only to return again. Each wave is part of an endless rhythm, a pulse that moves across the water, shaping the land with every tide. The waves are never the same, yet they follow the same cycle, coming and going, rising and falling, one after the other. It is in this ebb and flow that we see the earth's pulse at its most profound. The sea is never still, yet it moves in a way that is both constant and ever-changing. It is the very nature of time. We too move in cycles. Sometimes we rise, sometimes we fall, but always we return to the rhythm of life. Each wave is a reminder that time does not wait for us, but it does give us the space to move in harmony with it, to be shaped by it, and to shape it in return. Just as the ocean carries the pulse of the earth, so too does every living being carry this pulse within them. The earth's rhythm is reflected in the beating of our hearts, the rising and falling of our chests as we breathe. In each breath we feel time move through us, the very rhythm of existence flowing with each inhalation and exhalation. It is the pulse of life, the quiet rhythm that sustains us, just as the pulse of the earth sustains the world around us. Each moment we breathe is a reflection of the greater movement of time, a reminder that we are part of a larger rhythm, one that flows through all of nature. The pulse of the earth connects us to everything, to the land, the sky, the sea, the creatures, and each other. We are not separate from the earth. We are part of its eternal rhythm. And yet, in our busy lives, we often forget this pulse. We become consumed by the ticking of clocks, the rush of minutes and hours that seem to pass in a blur. But in the quiet of nature, away from the noise of our modern world, we are reminded of the earth's pulse. When we pause to listen, we can feel it beneath our feet, in the rustle of the trees, in the whispers of the wind, in the gentle lap of the water against the shore. Time, as measured by the earth, is not something that is urgent or fleeting. It is a rhythm that moves slowly and steadily, a rhythm that reminds us that life is not about rushing from one moment to the next, but about experiencing each moment fully, each pulse of time as it comes. The quiet pulse of the earth teaches us that time does not have to be feared. It is not something that passes us by, something we must race against. Time, as reflected in the earth's rhythms, is something to be embraced. It is a cycle, a continuous flow that carries us forward, that shapes the world and all the life within it. In the moments when we stop to listen, to feel the pulse beneath us, we find the peace that comes with understanding that time is both fleeting and eternal. Each beat, each cycle is a part of a larger pattern, one that has been unfolding for billions of years and will continue long after we are gone. As the earth's pulse moves through the land, it carries with it the memory of all that has come before and the promise of all that is yet to come. The earth's rhythms are not just about the present moment. They carry within them the stories of the past and the seeds of the future. The pulse of time connects everything, binding us to the earth, to the stars, to the universe itself. In the quiet of that pulse, we find our place in the grand tapestry of life. We're a part of something much larger than ourselves, something that is ancient, that is timeless, that moves in ways we cannot always understand, but that we feel with every heartbeat. The quiet pulse of the earth is a reminder that life is not just about the moments of action, the moments of busyness. It is about the quiet, the stillness, the spaces between the moments that allow us to reflect, to rest, to be. In the rhythm of the earth, we find the rhythm of our own lives. We are shaped by the cycles of time, by the pulse that moves through us and the world around us. And in that pulse, we find meaning, we find connection, and we find peace. And as the earth's pulse continues, so do we. We are woven into the rhythm of time, like the land, the sky, and the sea. The earth's quiet pulse reminds us that life is not about rushing through each day, but about finding harmony within the movement of time. It is in the pauses between moments that we find our connection to the world, to each other, and to ourselves. The stillness of time is not an absence, but a presence, one that allows us to feel the fullness of life, the depth of our experiences, and the beauty of simply being. Time, like the pulse of the earth, moves forward, steady and unyielding, yet it gives us the space to rest, to breathe, and to reflect. We are not separate from time, but part of it, part of the grand cycle that connects all things. In the quiet pulse of the earth, we find peace. It is a reminder that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, something that has been unfolding for eons and will continue long after we are gone. The earth's pulse is both a teacher and a companion, reminding us that time is not a race but a rhythm to be experienced. It is in the quiet moments, the spaces between breaths, the stillness between heartbeats, that we come to understand the fullness of time. And as the pulse of the earth moves beneath us, we are carried forward, one beat at a time, into the unfolding story of life. It is in these quiet rhythms that we find our place in the world and in the universe, a place where time is not something to fear, but something to embrace. And so we continue, moving with the pulse of the earth, living within the rhythm of time, knowing that each moment, each heartbeat, is a